We're going to have a look at manipulative tactics used as suicide threats, used as manipulative tactics.
Hey guys, this is the war against narcissism, and today I wanted to talk about a subject that is pretty serious, which is people in relationships with narcissists that want to leave, but the narcissist is threatening to take their lives, to commit suicide. And the reason why I wanted to...
Now, this isn't uncommon, but what can happen in these cases, I wouldn't say everybody that's in a relationship that is getting dumped or has caused the relationship to end and is threatening suicide is a narcissist. A lot of these people can be genuinely hurt, genuinely abandoned, if they've not been given any warning that there's something wrong, if the problem hasn't been described as to if it doesn't get fixed, this relationship's going to end. If these types of things are happening to somebody, and sorry about the background noise, if these types of things are happening to somebody where they're just being kicked to the curb for no reason at all, then they need help. They're not necessarily a narcissist. They're being abandoned. They've probably been raped, pillaged and plundered psychologically. There's no real reason or sense that they can make out of why they've been left behind. The person hasn't given them any closure whatsoever. And they genuinely are feeling like committing suicide. There are people that come out of relationships that genuinely do break down. There's people that get abused, there's people that get dumped, there's people that... There's very dark people out there that don't know how to manage relationships. They hook up with these people that want to try, and the next thing they're getting dumped, they're getting slumped, the person comes back, they let them back, they get dumped again. And yes, there is a side to this that unfortunately brings a lot of harm to the person who is on the end of, the other side of this abuse, where they're abandoned because somebody's met somebody else, or they've just gotten bored, they've taken money from them, they haven't talked about anything that's wrong, they've just disappeared. That's the other side to this. Now, this side that he's talking about, this is a manipulative side where the person's probably ruined the relationship to the point where the other person wants to leave, they want to get out, and now the person that wants to stay, that hasn't done the work, has decided that one way of trying to salvage the relationship is to threaten suicide. Now, I know children that control their parents this way, adult children as well. They've got everyone walking around on eggshells, frightened that the person that they're that is threatening suicide is actually going to do it. There's all sorts of ways in which they do this. That usually these people have been grandized, they've been enthroned, they've been pedestalized, golden child types, spoiled, never been really chastised for anything. A lot of the time they're self-soothing with drugs, medications, alcohol, weed. They have no concept of their psychological construct. They think they know more than the doctor at the clinic. They won't go to the clinic. And it's just a toxic mess made up of the delusions and derision going on inside these people who ultimately decide to maintain their position on the throne, be it inside the house or the relationship. they'll threaten to commit suicide, and usually to make sure that they get their message across, they'll feign, listen to this, they'll feign, they've got no intention of committing suicide, these ones, there are ones that pull it off, but they'll feign a suicide attempt to make sure that these people are taking notice of their manipulation. They'll feign a suicide attempt. They'll get found somewhere, you know, with a tie around their neck or something where they. But this is again another micro incremental characteristic dark triad manipulation. It just is. The damage and the power that this has behind it, if it works, is so deep. These people will have people running around after them like they're royalty. And you have to have, I've seen these people break up relationships. I've seen these people break up single mother relationships. I've seen them be in covert emotional relationships with the mother. And there's nobody going to interrupt that, or I'll commit suicide. I've seen all this. I've seen it with I've experienced this.
Talk about it is because, of course, when it comes to the subject of ending, you know, people ending their lives, no one wants to have that type of karma on their heads. No one wants to feel responsible because someone killed themselves, especially if it's someone that you used to care about or that you still care about. You know, it is understandable. However, the proper response to someone threatening to end their lives if you leave them.
Now listen, this isn't something that I've seen before, but I'm hoping he's about to say is to ring 000. They'll say 911 in America. But here, if somebody bungs on the suicide, in any element, shape or form, I ring 000 straight away. Because it's a professional therapy situation that needs to be dealt. I've seen these single mothers. You can see they're being manipulated. Oh, I don't want to risk losing him. Oh, he might commit suicide. And you're standing there and you're going, this is so infantile. This is so out of order. But the mother wants it that way as well, because it makes her reliant on the child, the adult child, and the adult child reliant on her. It's just a toxic cesspool of codependency. And just let me say to you too, if somebody says to you, I don't want to be in a codependent, intimate relationship, that should give you the suspicion that they're already in a codependent relationship. They're codependent. Because if they weren't, why would they be worried about it? I'll tell you why they're worried about it, because they don't want to do it again. They will do it again. And if somebody can take advantage of that, they will.
Is not to stay, because look at it this way. If you are in a relationship with someone that is abusive and they then threaten to kill themselves if you leave them and you decide to stay, now what?
That's right.
You have to stay forever? That doesn't seem fair.
No, you ring the police.
And really, you shouldn't have to give of to sacrifice your self-respect, to sacrifice your freedom of choice, to sacrifice your own life in order to keep someone else happy. How is that fair? How is that okay? It is simply not. You know, and in the situation, you know, your emotions, your feelings might lead you to believe that the right decision to make is to stay with that person until they're okay. But the narcissist will never be okay. They're narcissists.
100%.
They were broken on the inside long ago, before they were ever an adult, and there's nothing that you can do to help or to change that. But furthermore, you're not responsible for other people's actions. You are responsible for your own actions. They're responsible for their own actions. You are not responsible for any other grown adult, and no other grown adult is responsible for you, right? And I'll end on this, right? When
He
it
hasn't
comes
mentioned
to
ring
the subject
911.
of narcissists threatening to end their lives if you leave them, the proper response should not be to give of yourself or, sacrifice your own life in order to keep them alive. The proper response should be to call the authorities, call the police,
He got it.
ambulance,
He got it.
Sent to their homes.
There you go, viewers. He got it. Right? So if you're in a relationship with a parent and the child's committing suicide and the parent's not ringing the authorities, they want that situation. They're relishing in it. They're relishing in the exchanges of need and the exchanges of attention. The enmeshment, the parentification enmeshment. This is how it works. If there's threats of suicide and the people aren't ringing the police, then the parent's preying on being needed and the child's preying on getting attention for the threat. You ring the authorities straight away, and then if it's fake, it stops. If it's real, it's dealt with. There's no hiding when the coppers are called. So don't mess around with people that are threatening suicide. Doesn't matter how you feel, what you think. Call the police. These mothers and fathers and things like this that think they've got it, no. It's a game for them and the child. It's all about attention. It's all about enmeshment. It needs to be exposed. It needs to be stopped, and people need to get their psychological health and alignment back in order and get on with their lives instead of tiptoeing around with people that are controlling, manipulating, and chasing after attention illegitimately in a way in which is wasting everybody's time.